Okay. Ready? We'll wait, we'll let the mayor speak first.
If I can have everybody's attention for just a second here. On behalf of the City of Batavia, the Batavia Chamber of Commerce, and Batavia Main Street, we'd like to officially welcome Bridget and Tom to downtown Batavia at 6 West Wilson Street. Now, when I did the ribbon cutting a few weeks back next door, I told the story that they were right next to the bank and it was a drugstore. And in 1928, there was a big concern that John Dillinger was going to strike around here, so the Bankers Foundation bought sawed-off shotguns and gave them to every neighboring business in the Kane County. So they had this big sawed-off shotgun next door that was underneath the counter that fortunately never got used when Dillinger showed up. Wow. But I'm struck here today by what they have recreated here and what was here previously. This, for many years, was C.C. McCune's paint store. And Mr. McCune was a very active participant in Batavia. He was the first president of the Batavia Park Board. But in addition to his paint store, he was also a very active member of the volunteer fire department of the Batavia Fire Department. Now this gets better. Because the fire station was just the other side of the building right behind you. He was always the fill-in man. Every time the one guy on duty got on the fire truck and left, C.C. McCune would leave the paint store and run around the corner and fill in at the station. And then in his store here, he opened it up so that if you had some furniture you needed to be stained or whatever have you, he had it set up out front. He had a temporary parking space, and you could drive your truck or car in here and then haul the furniture in here and match it up for the color you wanted it stained and the type of furniture that you were dealing with. So yeah, that was always kind of the business here. And McCune had two sons who were my age, and we all kind of grew up together. He had one son, Denny, who was quite interested in the fire service, to the degree that he went off to Washington, D.C. and got a degree in fire science and ended up being the assistant to the executive director of the International Fire Chiefs for about 10 years. And at one point in time, when Bud Richter had been the fire chief and then Bob Hodge took over, and Hodge, some of us here standing here are related to him, kind of. Bob had a sudden health problem that he had to quit. And so I was then the mayor, and he says to me, when I went over to talk to him, he says, you know, the guy who should become the fire chief here is Denny McCune. And so I contacted Denny in Washington, D.C. I had to go out there, and I physically flew to Washington, D.C., spent about 24 hours with him trying to talk him into leaving the international chiefs and coming back to his hometown to Batavia to become the fire chief. And we didn't get the final decision until he took me to the airport, and I was getting out of the car, and he says, I guess I got to tell you I can't do it. So he did not do it. So this space is ringed in the fire service, and this the kind of the 6 degrees of separation that we got here between. For those of you who don't know, Tom is a long-respected fire chief in the area. He's the chief, was the former chief in Lisle Woodridge, and now he's the chief in Elmhurst. So he's got the fire service knee-deep, and he's been involved in it since he was a little kid, and so that's what that's all about. But Bridget brings, I've known these two for quite a while, and she brings some very unique and illustrious talents to downtown Batavia. And so I'm really looking forward to you kind of, no pun intended, setting this place on fire with activity. Yeah, it's sprinklered. Yes. But you really are, I think, in the right place at the right time, and with all the artisans and the art studio and everything else we've got going around here, this is really becoming kind of an artist hotbed. And so I'm really hopeful that what you're going to do here is going to be very beneficial to you in the days ahead. So on behalf of the community, if you want to help me cut this ribbon, and we'll put this there, and I'll do the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yay!
Welcome to Batavia.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Do you want to speak?
Yeah, wait,
You speak,
No,
Tom.
no,
You
no.
know you love to. Come on.
Well, I want to thank everybody for being here. We got some very special friends. Chief of the Aurora Fire Department is here with us, and all of our artisans, and Steve from Villa Park Fire Department. You talk about steeped in the fire service in this building. Absolutely, and it's been a humbling experience. The people of Batavia, and we're residents, we're right down from the high school on Millview, and it's just been, we've been very, very blessed. We had a wonderful opening on November 30th. You couldn't walk in here. It was just unbelievable. We couldn't believe the response. We've become tremendous friends with the folks next door, Limestone. Please come see them when their doors are open again. But probably the most significant is my relationship with this guy here. And the mayor talks about being in the fire service since a kid. I literally was. I ran into him at a major fire when I was a fire cadet. And we've known each other ever since. I'm a lot younger than he is, though. But he's in much better shape now. But it's just, if we were going to do this anywhere, it was going to be here in the city of Batavia. And, I'm the analytical, the labor-intensive. This wouldn't be what it is today, what you see around you, if it wasn't for Bridget.
No, the artisans. No.
And the artisans,
Yeah.
and the artisans.
No.
But she's the the heart and soul, and my motivation on a daily basis. And the people.
I didn't know that.
You told me I had to say that. That was what I got him right here.
Yeah.
And the people were so blessed to be with as part of our team, the Team Red Hive Market. The mayor was asking what Red Hive Market is about. I'm going to save that for you to explain how that came about. But the people that were so blessed to display their talents here, thank you so very, very much. It means everything to us. You're dear friends. You always will be. And the ones that we haven't met are just friends that we haven't met yet, but will be. So thank you very much. And I got to turn it over to Bridget now.
Red Hive Market was really just, I love the color red. Crystal, love your hat. And for me, I wanted it to be a buzz, lots of energy, lots of activity. So that's why I thought of Red Hive Market. Bees are always busy little things, and but this would not be without all of our artisans. It wouldn't be. So that is who gets the credit, is these people who really thought we knew what we were doing, and was like, yeah, I think they know what they're doing, and fooled them enough to sign the contract, and now it's like, hey, here we are. And it's wonderful. And Jamie is amazing, the chamber is amazing, and yeah, we really feel the support. BEI is amazing. Mm-hmm. Yep. So thank you all.
Is there anybody we missed?
Thank you to our artists.
Bridget, will you turn to the camera and tell them how to reach you and where your address is?
Yes, we're located at 6 West Wilson Street. We are on Facebook. We post a few times a day, and we're also on Instagram, so Red Hive Market.
Wonderful. Good. Congratulations.
Thank you.